this is my own theory. They're trying to make the characters likable, so it could probably help them for not getting as much hate because they're really young actors too. I think for season 1, Bella Ramsey was like she was like I think a teenager still, and she was getting like a lot of hate for not looking like a video game character, which is like, okay, let's be real now. Like this isn't a real person. But her acting is great. I remember I actually never really watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard a lot of good things about her. So I was surprised to see how much hate. It's like at the end, or honestly, I think a lot of the debate was, and it's so harsh, but it was like, oh, like she's not that pretty compared to a video game character. By the way, that someone just drew up.
Yeah. Welcome back to We Time Convo. This is part 2 of our deep dive into the world of animated versus live action remakes.
And we are not afraid to speak about the flops.
And so here are our final thoughts.
Did you watch this?
No, I've never played the game, nor have I watched it. However, to me, I think something about remaking a video game is that's like a very touchy subject, because I feel like you're taking a risk, because people who play video games are very into the video game. You don't think that it takes them hours and hours to play the game. So, or they play it multiple times. And so they're looking at how the characters in the game are supposed to act and what they say and how they look. And I feel like if you can't give them that in the live action, they're probably just gonna hate on it. And I feel like they do, for the most part, like express that. They very much like are okay with expressing that.
Well, there was another recent live action show that came out called Fallout. That was also based off a video game, but I will say that one I actually thought it was a really great show. I wouldn't say I played Fallout as much. I knew of it. It's kind of also like, there's a post-apocalyptic game. There's like a big like radiation, or no, there was nuclear bombs. So there's a lot of radiation up in the surface world where you're not supposed to go up to go up there. Everyone are living in these bunkers. It kind of gives you like the Jetson like feel too, and I actually love that type of look when it comes to movies and shows. So it was really cool. They're all in this bunker trying to stay safe. They don't know what in the world is going up though, like in the surface world at all. So for the game, you play as, like, there's a bunch of different games. Like there's like 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many numbers there are. There's even like a mobile game, but really like the important part is the setting in general. So I think when they made the show, it worked out well because they could just make their own characters. So, but it's like they just make their own characters and now they get to put them in this setting, which worked out really well. Like the color work, the actors, everything, like it was a really great, I think it was a great show. I know they're greenlit for season 2. I'm trying to remember what platform that was on though. I want to say it was Amazon Prime. I know they've been doing like a lot of good shows recently. But I don't quote me. Yeah, I was like, don't quote me. It could have been like Apple TV for all I know.
I remember. I was gonna ask you. So, The Last of Us, was the game style like kind of like butterfly effect? Like when you pick something, it kind of drifts you off to whatever you kind of just picked, or is like it all ends up being the same?
Yeah, it all ends up being the same story.
Regardless of what you pick.
Yes, regardless of what you pick. You're just, because I know for the butterfly effect, like for example, like if your character dies, like then that's like, because sometimes you can play different characters with butterfly effect games. So it's like, oh, that character's dead. Now you're playing a different character and continuing the story with that character. But like for The Last of Us, like when you die, you just kind of like restart when you do something wrong. And so it still ends up leading to the same ending. Okay.
So, because I was going to say, like, I feel like if it was a butterfly effect video game, then and recreated into a show, that would be interesting for people, because they'd be like, I didn't even realize this would be like a thing, because sometimes they just play it once and then that's the story they know, and they don't like try all there's too many combinations to know exactly what all of them are. And I think, what was it? Was it Black Mirror?
Yeah, the Bandersnatch.
Yeah, it was on on Netflix and you could pick throughout the time as you're watching the show. It's like a game itself, and Netflix is doing that too, where they're putting games in there.
Or like they call like interactive shows or something.
Yeah. And so that to me, like that's interesting, especially if you did that from like a game perspective, if that makes sense, like recreating that into like a game where you see it in a different way.
I will say, I think if it was to come to like interacting with these movies and shows, because like Bandersnatch was really cool how there's a different dialogue that you will pick and that will lead a different storyline. Yeah, a different storyline, different dialogue. So that was like really interesting. I think that was probably their first interactive shows. Yeah, and it was a live action, so they did have to have these actors like they'll do what's it like they're picking up a cup, putting it down, but then like you do a different path, like they're picking it up or like they're pouring it instead, or like, so that was really cool how they were able to do something like that. I do think though, like if they were to release more like entertainment like that, it won't be in theaters though. Like that would have to be on streaming platforms only, just because I mean, that's the only way it would work.
Can't do it.
Like, that's the only, they're not going to ask the crowd, like,
guys, which one?
Yeah, well, which one? Yes or no? You know?
So I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Would you rather rewatch the original Beauty and the Beast or the Emma Watson version?
The first one. The animation. I would rewatch that.
Okay.
See, you were very confident.
Yeah, I read you said that. I was like, yes.
You're saying rewatch it as like for the first time?
No, just
rewatching it.
Yeah, like if I said, hey, we're going to watch either the original or the Emma Watson version. Which one do you guys want to watch?
The original.
I think I would say original, but I do think that that's also one of the best live action remakes, because one of like it wasn't I didn't watch it and I didn't say this is terrible.
Yeah,
no, I agree
because their singing was good, and I don't remember there being any new songs inputted, and like it was kind of just all very much the same. But I would definitely want to watch the animated version. However, I don't know, I just wouldn't have picked it in general to rewatch.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think it was that bad. I did like the designs that they had for the, what is it, like the tableware characters and stuff. Like I actually thought they looked like really cool, like Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, Cogsworth, like their designs of how they made it look kind of realistic. It was actually really cool. I think they were very thoughtful about that. I think for me though, that kind of ruined it was just the music. I was very used to the original, the way like how it sounds. So like I think that's the only thing I didn't like, but I did like how Beauty and the Beast did add additional scenes. They had more depth of like Belle's mom, or they had it where I think like the original storybook is like the reason why the dad gets captured in a sense is because like he picks off a rose from the bush. They don't show that in the animated Disney.
So there's a little bit more context.
So which I noticed they do that a lot with the remakes, and I actually like those little parts. So I'm like, you could just make that like a little film, like you like just saying like to like additional scenes for the movie. But I did think those parts were cool. Like I think even with the Beast, I think they're talking about like his sick father and stuff. So, and that's where I think Belle and Beast also got along. Their parents were both sick. They both, I think they also, in that movie specifically, they both enjoyed reading. So you could see, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, he was a beast. So, and that was the one thing that threw me off. I will say watching him
live action,
like a live, I'm like
a real beast, and then not only that, he turned into a real person, and it was just kind of, I don't know, even for the animated version, seeing him turn into a real person was kind of hard for me to look at, because I was like, this is not what I thought the beast would turn in, like would look like in an animation. Like I just remember that being something that always threw me off. That's something I remember now that you say it. They did make it more similar to the original tale, because, and I remember this because that was my favorite book I owned, was the original tale of Beauty and the Beast. And I would look at it and I don't know, something about the book having its certain art style. Because do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
That's I feel like you've seen it though.
I probably have.
I don't know if you do either, Mom. But it showed that he he was going on it. He was in the woods. He grabbed a rose. The beast caught him, captured him. And then he was like, I need to go home to my daughter. And he was like, his daughter came to save him. Yeah. And so she was like, fine, then you have to stay here. And it was like that whole thing of like the original tale. I think that's what I liked, but you're right. They could have either implemented the original animation or just made a short film.
Or like, yeah, like just to show like more context. But I will say, like, regardless, again, like, I feel like nobody could complain about the original. Like, I have never heard a complaint about the original animated like films ever.
So which animated film should never be remade?
Oh,
that's hard.
The ones that got remade.
Yeah, like I feel like you can only think about the ones that were like, done bad.
Okay, for sure not Shrek. I do not want to see that.
Oh my god!
I was like, I
did not even think of like the fact that it would be bad. I'm thinking of the fact that the original is really good. So I was
like just because of like Shrek's and Fiona's.
It's an orc,
It's like I don't need to see that.
I don't want to see an ogre.
And I really love the Shrek movies, so they're not ruining that for me. Like Adam he gets upset too. Come like,
so who's Adam?
My boyfriend.
Adam gets upset over what?
Because they always want to watch Shrek.
No, it's a good movie.
He's like, again?
Okay,
I'm like,
as much as I think this is only like in our family. They're the only people that I've seen rewatch Shrek. Like no one talks about Shrek.
I love Shrek.
Like in my family only, because it's not just you, Yanni. It's like all of our cousins too. I feel like are okay with rewatching Shrek because it's entertaining. Something about it
just funny.
Does something to your brain chemistry, and you're just stuck on the screen because it's funny and it's a bunch of these fairy tales put together in one movie. And so if you did that in real life, it just wouldn't look right. Like it doesn't look right it barely looks right in the animation.
Yeah, it looks it looks a little.
So why would you want to do that to yourself? And
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, WALL-E. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see. It's already such a beautiful movie. WALL-E is an amazing movie where I wouldn't want them to redo that. And definitely like, and again, that goes back to controversy. Like if they want these movies to succeed, like I will say probably going away from live action remakes, like, people are already going to argue about it. Like whether they like it or whether they don't. Not. Like, and even if it's a 50-50, like 50 is an F. So it's like, don't go there. But I would say like, what is it, like Madagascar? Like,
oh yes,
I do not need to see real giraffe like on the boat finding the way in Madagascar.
I need to see a hippo and a giraffe flirt with each other. I really don't need to see that. And I don't need to see a penguin eating a bunch of objects. Like
that's probably gonna make me uncomfortable.
I know. It's just, to me, I guess what we're saying is that it's all the stuff that are too unrealistic.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, with animation, like,
it's supposed to be imagination. It's supposed to be fake, right?
Yeah, and I feel like, but that's where also like there's like also that comedy too, where they show so much expression, or their body could do different things that the real body can't do, but like that's comedic about it. Like when you're talking about the penguin from Madagascar, like he like throws up random objects. I don't want to see that, a real penguin throwing up I'm going to be very concerned if I was to see that. So I think, but obviously with a cartoon or whatever, like that works. Like,
yes,
because it's being drawn. It looks funny, but it works.
It's like, what is that one movie where the dog's like a superhero?
Is that Bolt?
No.
Okay.
Because I think he has a cape.
Oh, but it's like Underdog.
Yeah, but that's fully animation, right? Or is that?
Wait, then we're not talking about the same movie. Underdog was live
in my head, it's just what I'm getting at is I don't like you're gonna see a dog fly, like a real dog fly.
Superman just came out and I've seen a dog fly and it looked good.
Well, yeah, but I think the only part of the movie is about the animal flying. Like, no, I'm not talking about Superman.
No,
I'm saying
I'm trying to figure out what movie you're talking about.
I don't remember. Well, I don't know. Maybe I just made it up. But still.
Well, I'm thinking about the big red dog.
Clifford?
Are you for real? Yeah. So the Clifford, right?
I haven't watched that.
No, but what I'm saying is they made that live action.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it.
So
I do remember Clifford though.
yeah, and I was like, oh, why?
Like imagine if they made like Bluey a live action. Like I wouldn't want to see that.
I don't know. To me, when I see these live action remakes, I look at them and I'm like, I really want to watch the original right now, because all the original classics that were remade, you don't need to rewatch it all the time anymore because you've watched it a good amount of times, so it's embedded in your brain. You know what it looks like. And so when I look at them, I'm like, I really hate this. I want to watch I never have that urge until I'm watching a remake and I'm like,
to watch
like for
the original.
For Ariel and for Beauty and the Beast and like Mulan and stuff, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I want to watch the original, but I never had that urge
to watch the original,
to do it on my own time. So it's like,
what about Maleficent?
So
that was good.
Wait,
I was going to ask the question, which remake was actually better than the original?
well, I don't consider Maleficent a remake though.
You consider it like an extended story?
Yes, because it's a totally different perspective. So I think so I will say like these live actions that were in a sense extending from the animated movies. Those work. So the Cruella de Vil, that was actually a completely different story. I thought that was a great movie. It was a totally different perspective. It was a totally different plot. The characters were likable, but it worked. Maleficent, that also worked. I only watched the first one, not the second one, but the first one, I mean, that was also hit with everywhere too. Like I remember, like, I mean, you dressed up as Maleficent. So like after that movie, like I was like, but it was such a great movie. You get a totally different perspective. And I feel like that was a great way of like Disney at the time showing creativity. Like these are these iconic characters we love, but we don't know anything really about them. Like for Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty, like in the Sleeping Beauty movie, like we're just like, oh, like she's just evil. Like that's it. Like that's the day. Like that's all we need. Yeah, like that's it. But then when they made it into a movie, you get so much more insight about her character, how the
development of her character.
Yeah, and the fact like it was really surprising. Like she was good. Like she was a good fairy. So like she was.
So you
she
can
was misunderstood.
She was
created evil.
So you can definitely get into the branching or the development of characters that have been mentioned or a part of the original, but if they were to develop it and provide kind of a different perspective, that works.
Yes, like kind of like a spinoff. Like I mean, there's like spinoff shows. Like not every spinoff show works, but I do think. Well, I don't think spinoff show works for like when it's like the best friend characters. It's like okay, like I don't really like they're just comedic people. But I will say like because like there's a protagonist in every story and an antagonist for the most part, and it's like they're both main characters. So for Maleficent, that worked because she is written to be a main character.
Yeah. Well, think about like Marvel. They have their movies and then they have shows about their their superheroes on the side and what they're either doing in that moment in between the movies or their past or whatever it is. They add more to the character itself that makes everyone like them more when they watch the movie and they're all together. And something that I was thinking about while you were talking about how like Maleficent was branching off of the Sleeping Beauty story, how Snow White didn't do as good because it didn't do that, but they wanted her to have a different story for whatever reason, and it wasn't good.
I couldn't bring myself to watch Snow White, the remake, just because I just heard so many bad press on it that it was just like, ugh.
No, I was gonna say.
That's why I didn't watch it.
I was gonna say like probably like before it came out that a lot of both actresses, they got a lot of backlash for their own like I think like there was like political stuff and then like in interviews like what they say like they were getting judged for it. So I actually never I was like, oh, I'll watch it when it's on Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus. I actually still haven't watched it.
I had no desire to watch it or pay to go watch it because it was just so disappointing to see that these Disney actors are acting this way knowing that it's inappropriate.
Yes.
Because the things that they were saying in their interviews and how they act on the internet reflects the movie and reflects Disney as a whole. And so that's why they didn't do good. Yeah, sure. A lot of people were, because I never watched it, and a lot of people said that it was like a completely different story and you're expecting it to just be a remake, and it was just completely taken out of like context. But not only that, it's like the way they promoted it was terrible. They didn't put, like, for whatever reason, they weren't strict on how you're supposed to act, knowing that you are recreating a princess that everyone loves.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like, I think the main actress even said that she didn't like the original movie, and she was playing
The
Snow White.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you let her say that? Why would you let them like do this knowing it's a remake? You're not caring enough about the remake.
I think also like another movie that came out recently that I didn't watch was Lilo and Stitch. That was I actually couldn't bring I really love that movie, and I love the animation style of that movie, because I know like in that era, like they were kind of like, that was when the animated version of Lilo and Stitch came out, like that's when they just finished kind of like that princess era. Mm-hmm. So that was, I know, a big deal at the time when that movie dropped, because it's like, this is very different. This is like the modern world. It's no longer like fairy tale. So I will say, like, I fell in love with that movie. I fell in love with the whole idea of like what family should be. I mean, going to Hawaii also all the time, like I feel like they really captured how it was like in Hawaii. So I could not bring myself to watch the live action, because I was like, I do not want to be disappointed. I will say I did see like on social media, like I saw how Stitch was going to look and stuff. And I was like, oh, like he looks great. He looks really great. They definitely put a lot of work on the CGI for Stitch. I think like they made him look as like cute and as accurate as they can to put into live action. But it's like, still for me, it's like the animation version looks better. But then again, like I also heard a lot of controversy on Lilo and Stitch. I heard that they changed the plot a lot. I haven't watched it, so like I don't
yourself to watch it.
I probably can never, because I won't be happy with it. But I heard they changed a lot of the story. Like I know a few things was that Nani gave up Lilo to go to college or something like that, to study marine biology. But then also like in Hawaii, they get free tuition to study marine biology. So I thought that was interesting. Like if it were going to be realistic.
Yeah.
But and then I know like Mr. Bubbles, he wasn't the social worker. I know for Pleakley and Jumba, like, you know, like in the movie, they wear like these funny disguises. Like you're kind of like watching, like, man, these people are dumb. Like they don't even know like they're aliens.
But it was
like watching it was so funny to see that. But then like they actually have like actual human like
forms,
like not forms, but I think it was like hologram like disguises. So I was just like, everything is so different. Oh, and there's no Gantu, the big old alien that hunts them down. So
then what was the point of
the money grabbing? But
like what's the point of the story then if there's no one chasing?
So again, like I never watched it. So but once I heard like those points, I was like, yeah, I'm probably never gonna want to. I don't want it to be ruined for me. Like I really love the story of Lilo and Stitch, and the fact that like it was very interesting, like how I'm pretty close to my family, so it's like the fact that like the sister who lost it, like they don't have their parents anymore. It's
and
like,
she left her sister.
No, like it's the fact that she was willing, I guess like she gave her sister to a family friend or a neighbor or something, but like that's still not like the same, you know, like and she and Nani moved elsewhere to in a sense, like I think they're trying to go like, oh, she needs to achieve her dreams. But it's like, regardless, like how they have it, I didn't feel like just how they had the story before, it was still a very touching story and it worked. So it's like, why are we changing?
You're just like, so I guess going back on just hearing your guys' feedback, is live action remakes worth it?
No.
No.
Sorry.
They're not.
Were you not done? I'm so sorry.
No, they're not worth it though, because you put more money than the animation. You're putting more money than you put into the animation because think about it. The animation, you do not as many things. With the live action, you're paying all these actors and you're also like creating multiple scenes, have to do multiple takes. With an animation, what you just redo the audio and probably fix the art into and edit it to make it realistic. But for the live action, you are doing like, you have to do CGI and you have to do all these things. You have to do stunts and like approve all of these things.
So should studios invest more in original stories or keep re-imaging classics?
Definitely.
I was like, I'm pretty sure our opinion was very clear.
Definitely not even work harder on like the originals you're gonna create, but I don't know, like, because you can make it look however you want and it'll still be fine as long as it matches the story. But if your story isn't interesting and is like the same thing that's done 100 times, like a princess and a prince, then it's no one's gonna care. Like, it's about the imagination portion, it's about the creativity portion. It's not about the way it looks necessarily, like the art style. Anyone can get really past the art stile because everyone's thing.
I disagree. I think now in our art is really important.
No, I was gonna say
I really think I get what you're saying, but I think in our society today, with the technology that we have, we expect a very high art.
I was like, at least I do, because I will say, like, so like, what was like a going back to the style trend of, I keep calling it like the bean mouth, like, where, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like,
what's a bean mouth?
They
like when they smile, it looks like the shape of a bean.
Okay,
it's like just a Y.
Yeah, like so, like a good example for the movies, or like or it looks very rounded, like it's like like a circle nose.
Yes,
like,
yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like the eyes are just circles. So I hate that art style with the passion, but overall though, like, I still prefer those over remakes. Like, as much as I hate the art style, it's like at least it is a different story. But I do think art styles, like people have, I mean, it's everyone's different opinion, you know, like when you see a painting, like different paintings, like
everybody has their own preference.
Yeah, like, so some people are gonna like it, some people don't. But I would say for me, they need to keep, I mean, it all started with like animation movies, and if they want people to enjoy their movies and stuff, like with, like, I don't know how to say it, like, they're already known for these animated movies, let's do live action now. But it's like, no, you guys weren't having a problem before, and now you guys just wanted to make yourself a problem. But
I just also think that, especially for things like Disney, they started off with animation and they were popular from that, like you're saying. Yeah, they're popular from that. So why did you have to ruin it, like you said?
I was gonna say, like, I do think it's like, in a sense, they are losing their creativity on making a new story, even though weirdly enough with the remakes, the plots are completely different, where it could have just been a new story. Like, even with when I heard about Lilo and Stitch, like, I was like, if you guys just probably didn't call it Lilo and Stitch and called it like Milo and whatever, like, people probably, no, I'm saying, like, people probably
will come out and see it.
Yeah, because like it's a different story. But it's like for the Nani character, like, I personally think it was a big difference to, like, in the animated movie, she and Lilo, they get their happy ending of living together. Yeah. You know, and not even just them two, they expanded their family, which is something that was kind of like, the whole thing was about family. They get to keep their family together. As for like the live action, at least from what I heard, again, I've refused to watch it. From what I heard, it's like they don't get to keep their family anymore, you know? So I feel like if you're gonna make a new story, just just sprinkle some new names. I was like, have your script and just cross out the names or write a different name. And I promise you, like if like it's Stitch, they could have made him like purple or something. I'm pretty sure like, okay, like I might see it. Like what's this like guy's name? Like they'll end up watching it. But I would say, as for I think actually right now, for at least for Disney, I think they're done doing remakes. I think he announced it.
Well, good.
Yeah, I think they realized finally, like, it doesn't work.
Well, like for the Lilo and Stitch thing, it's like the whole point of why it kind of sucked is not sucked. I'm saying the original made you kind of like emotional, and especially as you get older, because when you're a kid, you're thinking of Lilo and you're thinking of how she's connecting with Stitch. But when you get older, you see how Nani had to stop her dream to take care of her sister. And that was not fair to her because they didn't plan that their parents would die.
Yes.
And so she had to drop everything because she wanted to take care of her sister. So it's like, to hear that wasn't the story anymore, it just kind of takes that away from you because that's what I didn't know that until I watched it again and I was older. And then I realized like she wanted to surf. And she couldn't do that anymore.
She was like a surfing champion.
She was a surfing champion, and then her parents died, and so she had to take care of her sister, and so she couldn't do that anymore. And she's working this entire time. I don't even think she was in school anymore. Like so then you realize that, and you're like, wow, like Disney really like cared to add this small detail to make you think about all of these extra things and how you're developing later.
You watch a live action remake?
No.
They tied it up. I like the live action remake for Little Stitch.
Oh, you
really?
do?
They tied it up.
Oh, so something you guys might want to check it out. But
I'll
you know,
think about it.
Well, that would just suck if that wasn't the case anymore.
Well, I was going to say too, Lilo and Stitch, I know for the animated version, the directors or like the people that were a part of making that film, they like went to Hawaii. Like it was based off like one of the islands, and they wanted to do their best to like respect it. But then also like, I think with this live action, this is like things, again, I'm going to say like I've been hearing, like I don't want anyone, people hear this, I don't want to think I watched the movie, I didn't. But I know Disney has a resort in Hawaii.
yes.
But in the animated film, they make fun of like the sense of tourist and like luau's. Like she, like there's a line she says like I wouldn't want to work at this fake luau anyways. And I think that's probably something they didn't want to do now because they're like, we have like a resort there, but like we don't want to.
So there's other considerations.
Yeah, they're probably like, we don't want it to look like we're making fun of like our own resort.
That's fine though. I feel like you as a watcher and someone who like either is known to Hawaiian culture and known of like just in that in general, you'll know that regardless of if they have a resort there, they're gonna have a fake like kind of like Hawaiian luau because that's normal nowadays. Like it's normalized that luau's exist and it's kind of just for money. Like that's not really true to culture. And then not only that, it's like Nani wasn't fully like Hawaiian or like Polynesian at all.
She was
just Filipino.
But I think she grew up
raised in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so I think that was also something that people were upset about. But then I understand that because also I think the girl who played Lilo was actually like Hawaiian and Polynesian and stuff, and she also is a poly dancer, so they liked her for the role but didn't like Nani, and it's understandable, but at the same time that's also like somewhat realistic in the sense of not everyone who was raised and born in Hawaii is Hawaiian.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So it's like there's always like a cultural, it's like Disney does these cultural things. Yes. And people, they know there's going to be controversy. Well, regardless of how you see it, there's a controversy.
Well, I will disagree with that though, because I do feel like, because like going back to like the Little Mermaid, personally for me, like it wasn't a big deal that they had a Black actress to play Ariel, but I'm pretty sure also there would have been no controversy at all if it was a white person.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. Like,
exactly.
I understand they're trying to branch out and show like diversity. Like I totally understand that. But I'm saying like if they first released it probably with a white actress, I don't think anyone
Okay, but
there would be
let's say, for
nothing said
example,
about it.
The what's her name? Tiana.
Yeah.
Let's say that it was a white actress that plays Tiana in a live action.
But there's a difference.
No,
though.
I will say as much as there's controversy for that, there's gonna be controversy for that too. My only difference with it, so like in the film of Princess and the Frog, there was like a black community in the film. Like her neighbors, they were all black. Like they show mansions and it was filled with white people.
But what if she's like half? Like you can tell that she has a little bit of black, but she's also now, because see, I think that's one of the things about this live action. You're going to have these cultural sensitivity in
for
these
sure
modern adaptations.
But that's why you shouldn't even try it all if you're not going to do it right.
No, so
you're not doing it right regardless. Think about it. If you're going to pick an actress that is only half, like is just mixed for Tiana, you know people are going to think of it a certain way, and you know it's technically not accurate because Tiana's parents were both black. You're gonna tell me that you're gonna just say it's okay that she's mixed? That's not the story.
I was gonna say I feel like for that timeline, it was a lot of white people in a sense weren't like poor. Like it was I'm not gonna lie, her neighborhood area, they wanted to show like it was in a sense like a poor area, and it was all of them were black people, and everyone in the mansions, they were white rich people.
That was what the animation movie was trying to portray.
Yeah.
And not only that, for Tiana specifically, she was one of the first Disney princesses of color, or just Disney, like a main Disney character of color, and that's why you know that you can't mess that up. Like you can't mess that image up, because then it would reflect poorly on the company itself. But then it's also different from Ariel, because Ariel is a fictional character, like literally a mermaid. Have you ever seen a real mermaid? No. So it's like there was no culture to that. Like there's literally no culture. So she could have been a full fish and it wouldn't have mattered because she doesn't exist.
Well, that is why we will see where this whole live action and animation will continue or not. I think it will, just because at the end of the day, it's all about money, guys.
Yeah.
And so it's just gonna continue. But I think you guys hit up on a right thing. Well, for me, it hits is that we need to come up with some really good original stories.
Yeah. And I think DreamWorks have been doing great with that. With The Wild Robot, with Puss in Boots. I know they're
Boots.
Well, it's based off like Shrek, but it was just character.
It's that he got his own storyline.
Yeah, he got it's basically like another spin-off, kind of like Maleficent, their own spin-off in a sense, and it worked out really well.
At the end of it, I am not running to the theaters to watch a live action.
That's fair.
I just don't see myself doing that. But what it also tells me is I have to be open to seeing these original stories.
I think I've been very open to watching like new movies as of recently. Like I've been going to AMC. I got like the A-list thing, so that's like 4 free movies a week, I guess. Like, guess I have to go and watch all these movies, and I really have.
And we're not sponsored by AMC, but if you want to.
Well, I just think something that would be more entertaining if you want to stay with a original story. There's so many like theories and original like the original stories, especially with Disney princesses, that people would love to see that, and it's still about the princess themselves. It's just more gory or not as like kiddish.
There was actually like another one I was gonna add to that I actually enjoyed. It was called Christopher Robin. That was based off because when you mentioned Winnie the Pooh, like the horror stuff, but I actually enjoyed that movie. And again, these, when they have a different character, but it's like the same like setting, for me it works. Because Christopher Robin, it was his storyline. He's a grown man now. He's like, I cannot be playing with like dolls, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know. So like, but Winnie the Pooh, whatever, he comes to life and it's like, we need your help. And like you see kind of like it's Christopher Robin's, like he's still
It's a
him.
continuation.
Yes. And
Yes.
I feel like that story, it was very nice, definitely like being older now, because it's like Winnie the Pooh is like, come on, like play with me. Like he's like, look, like a butterfly, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
and like
that was like cute.
no, it was such a, like, it was really heartwarming because like it makes you miss like your kid's side that you had. Like, I think like when you do grow up, and hopefully like not everyone loses, like I don't think everyone loses it, but like you're like, you have responsibilities, you need to mature. So it's like people tend to be very like serious, and, you know, and sometimes people forget to have that fun. But I will say with that movie, it does like
brought you back.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay. Like you have time, like you need to have fun. So I thought like that was like really cool. And I think they did that story really well. I think they just need to, I think if they were going to make live actions, have it like extended. Remakes, no. Like
I think it's either extended or telling like an old story, or like, because I always grew up like after watching like a Disney princess story, like I'd go on YouTube and they would be like what the original Sleeping Beauty really was like, and like the real story, and I'd be like, oh my god, that's so like terrifying. But yet if it was created into a movie, I'd watch it. Like, why did they make it into they took this like really terrible story and turn it into a kids movie, and it's like kiddish, so it's like,
well I think like storybooks and stuff were truly like supposed to be lessons for kids. So I know like the original story for like the Little Mermaid, because she doesn't listen to her dad when she gets tricked by Ursula and she goes on land. She actually doesn't make it like to get that kiss, to be human like. She becomes sea foam, which is the white in like the waves. So like that's to put, like she turned into sea foam, and that was it. The end.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
that was it. Like, so these stories were made to teach like kids lessons. It is interesting. Like, I think kids like with Disney and stuff, they were in a sense, maybe they never had creativity because they're all taking these stories from storybooks. Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
You know, like when it's like, oh, like you could copy my answers, just change it a little bit. That's what that just reminded me of right now.
But even then, you can't say like them taking it like their originals, like of specifically the Disney princesses, and like from storybook, you can't say it was bad because you watched it and you're like, this is a good original, and then you hear the story and you're like, that's also good though. That's also a good story to hear. So it's like, it was better. Their remaking of it is not as good as it was before.
Yeah, I think for the most part we're like all on the same page.
So
same thing.
Final thoughts.
Okay,
Aiyanna, now that we've talked all about this live action and animation,
I think like my final thoughts is kind of just everything I've been saying since the beginning, as that they need to stop doing live action remakes. I think that they need to continue with making original stories. Not each one's going to be a winner, but that's okay because it won't be as bad as the live action remakes. And again, that like if anything, if they're doing live action, they can have it like as an extension of like these original stories that they created already.
Vanessa.
My thoughts are, I think they should stop doing remakes in general, regardless of the scenario. I do agree that if you are going to try to reference an original, make it into an extended storyline or just referencing it. My favorite example is the Cinderella story, because that's referenced really well. And then I would say that when making an original, you really need to be creative. It has to be like that. It has to be something no one's ever seen, and in a good way, not in a this sucks, I've never seen anyone do so poorly in an anime, like in a storyline. And because I just feel like they just need to be more creative. Whoever they're hiring nowadays and approving these things are either so stuck in old ways or in the past, or they don't know what good stories sound and look like. And so I think that's where I stand on that, because and even if they don't get as successful as they want it to be, some kid out there is gonna love it. Like there's gonna be a handful of kids that are gonna love this new story, even if the whole world doesn't love it. You know what I mean? Because there's definitely stories that, like, movies me and Yanni like and love that aren't popular, that most people don't like or don't rewatch multiple times.
I have one.
What?
Would you like to see Coraline in live action?
No, I'd die. I'd die, because the whole reason I love that movie, Coraline's my favorite movie, and the whole reason I love it is not even just this, like, the way it looked the first time I watched it, but learning more about it afterwards and how they made it by hand. Like, this is not no like digital claymation. Yeah, it's not no digital art. This is like original, like, claymation, and it's like, it's such like a unique story that I'd rather you just continue it. Like, I'd really just rather you continue it exactly how it is. I'd be so angry if they made a live action remake of that and didn't give a Coraline 2 or didn't give like the other mother before Coraline came along. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be so angry. And I know every Coraline fan would be too. Like, that would just piss you off.
I wanted to add to that too. I totally forgot about Leica. That's a great studio because they work on claymation movies. I was gonna say that, like, with that too, like, again, going to, like, you could tell when they work hard. Like, claymation is not easy at all. How they have to pause and stop every, like, millisecond just to get these movements going. And it's like the fact, like, honestly, I feel like they're the only one I've seen that really does like claymation too. I think they did, I think recently maybe the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one was a really good one.
Underrated.
Yeah, that one was like it too.
But that was so underrated. No one really talks about it. Coraline's definitely more popular, but Box Trolls was not as popular. And I think I'm that kid that loved it so much, even if it wasn't as popular to the whole world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So I'm changing my final thoughts. I need more claymation and just regular animation.
Originals.
And original
also,
animation.
Also, the thing with Leica, they don't really do series or anything like that.
They keep it pure.
Original. Yes.
Yeah.
The entire time. They, like, same thing with Tim Burton too. Like, those Tim Burton movies, they don't do a part 2. They don't do a series. They don't do like a side quest.
They're all standalone.
They're all standalone stuff, and that's why people love them so much, because they want more, but they won't give it to them because they know they can't do it as great.
So there's one I know with Selena Gomez, and I want to. Is it?
What's her name?
Is it Hilary Duff?
There's Hilary Duff.
Yes.
So I like both of those.
Yes, those are good.
And Selena Gomez.
Those are my 2 favorites.
But how about the Brandy one?
Oh, you know what? My sister loves that one.
The Brandy one?
Cinderella. I know it.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, she's a Black Cinderella, and then Prince Charming's Asian.
Yes, it's the
They were actually
Asian
in the one of the Descendant movies that you were mentioning earlier.
I don't know. I think I watched. I think I watched it. I don't remember it.
I was gonna say I don't remember as much, but I know that one was a big hit too.
All I know is the Cinderella movies, because I've watched a lot of them, and there's a lot of remakes of them. I don't remember a single one being a princess in a ball gown with these 2 evil sisters and an evil stepmother and a castle. Like, it was all like
kind of a reminiscent of the Cinderella, but just like
story.
Kind of like a different version.
Yeah, it's just a different version. Like, for the one with Hilary Duff and the one with Selena Gomez, they were in high school. They were wearing normal people clothes. There was no big ball gowns every day.
Very Cinderella.
Yeah, it was very Cinderella. That's why it worked.
Well, I think also what makes it work too, like, there's always like the one big event. Because, like, for Hilary Duff, she ends up wearing like a wedding dress, like, but it looks like a Cinderella dress and stuff. And I think, like, because I think I know, for the animated version, there's magic involved. But, like, she just wears a mask, and they call it, like, that's how the prince doesn't know.
She wears a mask, and he doesn't recognize her at all.
I know but there is, like, I think for both those stories, there is like an evil stepmother. There are the evil, or like, to the extent the evil like, sisters.
It wasn't as, but it wasn't
bad. Yeah, I think
they made her clean and just like pointed at her cleaning, but in the animation they like ripped up her dress and I think
they do that too.
They did? in the live action?
Well,
with
they
Selena
definitely
Gomez?
they do her dirty.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they didn't. It wasn't like aggressive, like where they like. It's like
She had to paint the entire pool pink. That is aggressive to me. I am
no. I'm just saying, like in the animation, they got away with being like.
Abusive?
Yeah, like it was literally like Sleeping Beauty or like it's like Maleficent where like there's magic and everything and they're like dying, like it's, you know what I mean, like it was like more dramatic in the animation.
Well,
they could get away with it.
Well, thank you girls for joining us at We Time Convo and giving us your take on live action and animation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.